Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carruth Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2005 movie titled Proof. Now, Proof is a drama that runs for 1 hour and 40 minutes long. It is directed by John Madden. It is produced by Allison Owen and Jeff Sharp. The script was done by Rebecca Miller, and it was based on the play titled Proof by David Alburn, which he went on to win a Pulitzer Prize, and he also was nominated. I don't know if he was nominated, or I think maybe he actually did win a Tony Award for the script as well. The score was done by Stephen Warbeck, the cinematography by Alwyn Kuchler, and the editing was done by Mick Owsley, and it stars Gwyneth Paltrow, Anthony Hopkins, Hope Davis, and Jake Gyllenhaal. What did I think of this movie? Well, let's just say that some plays are never meant to be adapted onto the big screen. I mean, David Alburn wrote a very powerful Pulitzer Prize winner, and as a result, the movie turned out to become just another drab, drippy Gwyneth Paltrow starring vehicle. It's a shameful disposition that everyone will probably forget about the play and only remember this slushy film. Directed by John Madden, who once again re-teams with Gwyneth Paltrow. They collaborated in 1998 with Shakespeare in Love. So the final product consists of a cornucopia of tiresome compromises and an abundance of cuts that will leave you scratching your heads. First, there are many reasons why Proof lacks life, but the two main faults stand out more than the others. Firstly, Paltrow is forced to play an emotionally distraught lady, which can be described as a role that's outside her parameters in her acting. If you remember Sylvia, she plays a brilliant poet with suicidal tendencies who came across as a level-headed person that you're probably just born that way. But some people are led to believe that, if a family member has a mental illness, there is also a 50-50 chance that I myself might have one too. That's kind of like the ideology that seems to come across and materializes throughout the movie. Calling on someone who's about to break down, her emotions just stem from morose to frustration to depression and just drab. There's really no emotional changes in her character, and basically what you see in her is what you get. And I guess you either can just take it or leave it. There's really no other elaborate choices out there. And the emotions do not have very much dimension to it. She's either sad, very sad, full-blown moody, and just plain frustrated about her depressions. There's really no feel-good about this movie at all. And I think this movie's cynical approach could be a bit of a burden to some. I mean, if she's not willing to become a happy person as this movie ends, it leads me to this problematic thing, that to the point where why bother caring if she doesn't want to change her ways? If she wants to be moody and upset, I think it's just in her natural psyche to be that way. I don't think there really is much of a choice but to accept her for who she is. I guess that's what it is. And to me, that does not have that kind of spark. From the beginning, we could clearly see that Mr. Alburn was not really given much creative control, since he was under the collaboration with Rebecca Miller. Since he knew his characters better than any of the other crew members, it would have been wiser if he chose a director who was much more adept in the technique that he embodies. And maybe it would have been better if he would have written the script, adapted it for the movie, instead of just getting some hack like Rebecca Miller and embody the creative control in this. This is his script. This is his baby. In other films. In following the tradition of the original play, the setting takes place days after the death of Dr. Robert Llewellyn, played by Anthony Hopkins, who was a brilliant mathematician whose final years was spent fighting a mental illness which was manifesting in him progressively, which of course led to his death. And we are first introduced to him while he's talking to his daughter, Catherine Llewellyn, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, on the day of her 27th birthday. But she acknowledges that he's deceased, and he seems quite passive about it, which indicates that he's probably just a manifestation in her mind. And maybe this is where we get the idea that she's probably just some grief-stricken person who's suffering from a depression phase because of the fact that she lost her father. And I know that's a terrible thing, no matter who you are, to lose a relative. And the thing of this is that she just can't seem to let go. And that's understanding. Okay? I mean, I can't say I feel her pain, but I understand where she's coming from. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the supporting cast, shall we? Yes. The rest of the supporting cast has, well, Anthony Hopkins. He did quite well in his performance as this brilliant mathematician who's supposed to come up with some kind of a mathematical proof that will change the way we look into the field of mathematics. I mean, if they would have followed his character as more of a leading role rather than demote it to the emotional burnout that we get from his daughter Catherine, I think that would have been the more effective story, since Proof was about this mathematical breakthrough that was supposed to change the way we think in mathematics. But it was really hardly ever talked about, and Hopkins really was not given very much screen time to embrace that that aura that the film was really intended. Instead, we have this emotional roller coaster of a drama movie, which kind of drags on for quite too long. Even though the movie is an hour and 40 minutes long, the slow pacing makes it feel like I'm sitting through a 2-hour, 30-minute movie. And I don't think we really need that. I mean, I sat not to get credit for himself, but to give him credit so that his legacy and his legendary status as a math whiz carries on, and that he should get the credit for it. Of course, we realize that there is a bit of a twist at the end that reveals, maybe I shouldn't give that away in case people didn't see the movie, so I don't want to give away too many spoilers. Gyllenhaal didn't do too badly in his performance. I mean, he kind of broke away from the stereotypes that all mathematicians have to sort of be almost like a Dilton Doily type character, you know, a geek with nerdy glasses who wears tacky clothes, a flannel checkered shirt, maybe he has some pens and pencils in his pocket, maybe even a small calculator or whatnot. And he kind of does not envision what the physical aspect is to a mathematician. You may think of them as being some kind of a scrawny nerd, but he is not. He is anything but a scrawny nerd. Some people say he looks too much like a rocker rather than a mathematician, but I guess maybe he was just trying to break away from typecast, which on the whole makes his physical performance miscast, but I guess to maybe break away from typecast or from possible cliches, I guess he may have done his job there, so I'm not going to condemn him too much. Hope Davis, she plays the role as Catherine's estranged sister, who makes it her initiative to become the permanent guardian to Catherine, much to Catherine's chagrin. Obviously, Claire has not always been there when her father was in his final stages of life, and Catherine has not really fully forgiven Claire for it, and so therefore she also does not like the fact that she wants Catherine to leave Chicago to the more exquisite lifestyle in New York City. And of course this continually pisses off Claire, but you know, I guess in a way that Claire might be like the closest to being an antagonist. And sure, the sympathy is leaning towards Catherine, but her character is so drippy, I find it really very hard to feel sorry for her at times. Not only is she a bit, you know, cuckoo, there are moments when she actually just plainly creeps me out, especially when she goes on some hallucinations. I mean, not to say that I've never experienced hallucinations. I've had many hallucinations, and many people will know about my history of anger issues and frustrations, but hers really sometimes just sometimes a little bit over the top, over dramatic. The script definitely has some memorable scenes, including the funeral eulogy, which definitely has a negative impact on Catherine that never fully contributes to this movie. And the title of the movie stems from some esoteric mathematical breakthrough found in his desk. The penmanship, whether it will ever be revealed, is supposed to be the climax of the story. However, the best scenes are probably when Catherine's flashbacks and hallucinations, they really truly stand out. So the father-daughter chemistry between Hopkins and Paltrow are the ones that kind of really bring the film life, but still it's drab, it's depressing, and I think that if only David Alburn had more creative control, this movie probably would have been a little more better. So unfortunately, it may pain me to say this, but if I was to give a movie a scale out of 10, I have to give it a 5. So I guess this ends my rider review. Thank you all for listening in. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. Remember, be kind, be courteous, and I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Carruth Rider saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.